My name is Dr. Leah Mercer. I was stationed at Echo 7, a remote Arctic research facility, part of a US-Russian collaboration to study glacial movement. It was supposed to be 3 months of isolation, data collection, and frostbite. It turned into something much worse. It began on day 12. Pavel, our Russian geophysicist, picked up a low-frequency signal, steady, unnatural. It repeated every 37 seconds. We assumed it was a leftover military beacon, maybe a Cold War relic buried beneath the permafrost. Curious, we triangulated it to a site 6 kilometers northeast of the base, beneath nearly 40 meters of ice. We called in a drilling team. They didn't ask questions. Government funding does that. The ice came up in cores, blue, ancient, and silent, until we hit metal. A rusted Soviet transmission tower, half buried, not listed in any official records. We celebrated the discovery, history in frozen form. But that night, the signal changed. It wasn't just pulsing anymore. It started talking. No language we recognized, just phonemes like someone mimicking speech without understanding. Garbled syllables in a deep, grinding voice. Pavel swore it said his name. He didn't sleep that night. Neither did I. We sent recordings to Moscow and DC. Both denied knowledge. 2 days later, our satellite uplink died. Then the backup. We were cut off. And then Pavel walked out into the snow. Alone. In his pajamas. We found his body near the tower. Frozen solid. Face contorted in fear. His recorder was still running. On playback, it captured his last words. "They hear through us." The others wanted to leave, but protocol meant we had to wait for relief. Another 2 weeks. We started hearing whispers through the vents, static in our ears even without radios. I found scribbled messages in my own handwriting that I didn't remember writing. It's not a tower, it's a door. One night, I dreamt I was beneath the ice, weightless, drifting toward a black mass, something with eyes that opened like wounds. I woke up screaming. Then, Dr. Myers vanished. We searched the entire compound. Nothing. No footprints in the snow. No trace. Just his voice on the radio the next night, repeating that alien static, ending with, "Let us in." I sealed off the comms lab, burned the tapes, but the signal kept coming. The ice around the tower began to melt. Despite the sub-zero temperatures, something was coming up. I made my way to the supply depot and wrote this down. On paper, not digital. It's safer. The signal is older than we are. Older than words. It doesn't speak. It listens. If anyone finds this, don't investigate. Don't triangulate. Don't answer back. I know what's waiting on the other side. I didn't sleep after I wrote the last entry. How could I? The signal had grown stronger, louder, more rhythmic. We started hearing it without instruments. It was in the pipes, in the walls, in the spaces between our words, like it was learning how to use us to echo back. The ice around the tower didn't just melt, it collapsed, revealing the full structure. Not a transmission tower, a spire, a monolith, black and seamless, pulsing with something like breath. I watched as Carlson, our communications officer, stood beside it. His eyes had gone dark, not just his pupils, his whole eyes. He smiled at me, then opened his mouth, and the static poured out of him in a wave. I ran. The signal began to overtake the facility. Lights flickered constantly. Equipment shorted out. Hallways bent slightly, like reality was warping around the frequency. I found Dr. Nguyen writing in a journal, only it wasn't her handwriting. The symbols were circular, spiked, layered on top of each other like they were meant to be seen all at once. When I touched the page, my head filled with screams. We had to destroy it. I took what fuel we had left and rigged it to the core of the structure. As I placed the charges, I could feel it talking, not to me, but through me. It wanted to be known. It wanted a host. As I triggered the blast, I felt it reach out, but I was already gone, diving into the snow, feeling the heat of the explosion behind me. I woke up hours later, alone. The facility was gone, swallowed by the ice. Only the recorder in my pocket remained, replaying one last phrase over and over. It will return where it was born. I walked south for 2 days before the rescue chopper found me. I haven't spoken of it since, but I still hear it. At night, in the silence, it's waiting for a better signal, and it's getting closer. Horror Story 2, The House That Walked Away. It started with a rumour. There's a house in Black Hollow that disappeared. Not demolished, not destroyed. It walked away. The story came from a drunk in a bar, then a park ranger, then a hiker who swore he saw it cresting a hill at dawn, its foundation scraping over dirt like dragging bones. I'm a documentarian. I chase stories no one else will touch. And something about this one, it itched behind my eyes. The town was tiny, forgotten. One gas station, one diner, one church with rotting wood. When I asked about the house, the locals shut up like I'd insulted a grave. Only one old man talked to me, said the house used to belong to the Finch family. Went quiet around 1983. Then one day, gone. Left footprints, he said. You ever seen concrete leave prints? I laughed. He didn't. He gave me coordinates, told me to go alone, not to bring light. So of course I did the opposite. I brought 2 cameras, a flashlight, and a drone. I found the path deep in the forest, barely a trail. And after an hour, I found something worse than ruins. I found drag marks, parallel indentations across the soil, like something huge had been moving, deliberately. The forest grew quieter the deeper I went. Not just animals, no wind, no leaves, no life. And then I saw it. A house, 2 stories, colonial style, sitting between trees like it had always been there. But its foundation was bleeding, no mistaking it. Black-red ooze leaked from under the boards, soaking into the roots around it. I raised my camera. Static. The drone wouldn't launch. I stepped inside anyway. The air was wet, not humid, wet, like stepping into lungs. My every step creaked like a scream. Dust floated upward, not down. And on the walls, photos, not framed, etched, burned into the wallpaper. They showed the house from the outside. But in every one, the angle changed, as if the house had moved. Then I saw myself in one of the images from the window upstairs. But I hadn't gone upstairs yet. I should have run, but something pulled me. I climbed the staircase. Each step groaned like bones under pressure. At the top, a hallway twisted left. Not twisted, as in turned. Twisted, like a corkscrew. Physics didn't matter here. At the end of the hall was a door, blacker than the rest. Inside was a child's bedroom, but wrong. Everything was mirror-flipped. Toys faced away. Bed nailed to the ceiling. A doll sat upright in the far corner, its eyes open, and it smiled. Then I heard the scraping, not from above or below, but all around. The house was moving again. I ran to the window. Forest gone, replaced by a shifting red mist, trees with eyes, and through the mist, other houses, all walking, marching toward a place the horizon couldn't hold. I ran back downstairs. Door gone, replaced by wall. The house didn't want me to leave. In the living room, the photos had changed. They now showed me screaming, scratching, decaying in frames. Moments that hadn't happened yet. The house wanted to keep me, feed off me, add me to its gallery, but I still had my lighter. Gasoline in the kitchen, just enough. I lit it, ran. As the flames consumed it, the house wailed. Not wood, not fire, pain. I blacked out in the forest, woke up 2 days later in the hospital. They said I was found 30 miles from town. No burns, no signs of fire anywhere, but my camera was melted. Only one image survived. A house. Mid-step, watching me over its shoulder and smiling. Horror Story 3. Voices in the static. I used to laugh at people who said they heard voices through static. You know the type. Conspiracy nuts, lonely insomniacs, ghost hunters with overactive imaginations. But I was a sound engineer, a rationalist. I dealt in frequencies and waveforms, not phantoms. Until I bought that radio. It was an old Soviet relic from an estate sale, labelled only functioning, with a price tag of $10. I thought it was a joke. I just wanted to restore it, maybe use it as a prop in a video project. The first time I turned it on, all I got was a deep, jagged hum. White noise, sure, but not like any I'd heard before. It had texture, movement, layers beneath layers like whispers buried under a blizzard. I isolated the frequencies, boosted them. I could swear I heard something. Words, maybe. Shapes made of sound. It became an obsession. I stopped sleeping. I'd sit there for hours at night, headphones on, scribbling notes like a madman. Then the voices started saying my name. At first, I thought it was just my mind playing tricks, sleep deprivation, pattern recognition. But the voice was clear. My name, repeated, layered in different accents, different tones, sometimes a whisper, sometimes a command. I tried recording it, nothing, just static on playback, but I could still hear it live, always live. I brought in a colleague, another engineer. She listened with me. After 3 minutes, she threw the headphones off and asked who else was in the room. That night, she quit the project, said she was done with whatever it was. I didn't stop. One night, the signal shifted. The voice changed, became more familiar. It was my mother's voice, then my father's. Both of them are dead. They didn't just speak. They pleaded, told me they were cold, trapped. Find us, they said. Underneath the signal, I tuned lower, past human frequencies, past sanity, and I found something, a second signal, buried beneath the static like a heartbeat under floorboards. I followed it to its source. It led me to a warehouse on the edge of town, abandoned since the 70s, supposedly used by the military for shortwave experiments. Inside, I found a console, still glowing, still broadcasting. I turned it off. The voices screamed. All at once, a billion whispers of agony compressed into a second. And then, silence, until the lights in the warehouse exploded and something moved behind me. I ran, dropped the radio, left it there. But it didn't stay. I found it on my desk the next morning, turned on, and smiling through the speaker was my own voice. I thought maybe I was losing my mind. Maybe the isolation, the lack of sleep, the obsession, it had all cracked something deep inside. But then I started seeing them. Figures, blurred at the edges, like they were stitched out of static, standing in reflections, peering from doorways. Every time I tried to record them, nothing. My phone screen fuzzed. Cameras shut off, except for one moment. One still image from a motion-activated security camera in my apartment. A shape standing over my bed, with my face, eyes empty, mouth open. Sound didn't play, but I could see the shape's jaw moving, mimicking, repeating. I lip-read one phrase from the footage. You opened it. Now it won't close. I smashed the radio. Didn't matter. The sound didn't come from the radio anymore. It came from my walls, my lights, my own breath. I tried moving. It followed. Hotel rooms, motels, even one night sleeping in my car. The signal was in me. I reached out to researchers, parapsychologists. I even sent a letter to the Vatican. No response. I stopped uploading videos. Friends thought I went off grid. Truth is, I was hiding. But tonight, the static is clearer than ever. It's not just voices anymore. It's instructions, blueprints, rituals, a message for anyone who will listen. And as I write this, I realise it's not trying to hurt me. It's trying to use me, to transmit. If you're hearing this, don't listen. Don't tune in. Don't answer when the static calls. Because once it finds your frequency, it never lets go.